Blazing Guy. What's Blazing Guy?
All-consuming fire. Blazing Guy.
3 months worth of rain falling on the Nevada desert in just 3 days for the Burning Man Festival. But not much would burn here. What used to be sand has now turned to clay. It's meant to be a sustainable festival, imagining
A world of anarchic free expression!
humanity could be like.
The first thing they do when you go to a pawn shop and take what they do? How do they determine if it's gold plated or what? What they do? What kind of test they take it through? When you take the jewelry to the pawn shop, how do they determine if it's real or fake? They put it through the acid test. They put the fire upon it. That's how we know if we're real or fake. We're gonna go through the fire. You're gonna have disagreement with each other, but it's okay. You're gonna be friends, but if you have a disagreement, it's just a different agreement. That don't mean you ain't gotta see her no more and talk to her, or talk to her, or whatever. I wanna go to work, I don't wanna go to work because they stressing me out on the job. You feel me? They ain't receiving me with my full potential. And I don't know why I don't wanna go to work. I gotta understand why. Why I don't want a job? Because something ain't right. And I gotta acknowledge it. I ain't gonna sell my soul for the job. God said, I'm trying to put you over here, or I'm trying to let them know through you, let your light shine. But I'm hating on them because they ain't feeling me. They don't understand me. Hey man, you gotta take them.
You
see how they flee?
Yeah.
They want $1, want a quarter. He could have got everything that he needed if he just would have been patient, but it's okay. You recording this? It's okay. I'm telling the truth. It's all right. I thank God for you. Y'all are blessings to me. A true blessing. I ain't got nothing to hide. My burdens are heavy, but when I'm weak, he's strong through me. He speaks to me. The weaker I get, the more frustrated I get with my life, and I did this, I did that, then the more he speaks through me, the more he takes control of me. That's just where he wants you at. Get frustrated. That's where he gonna speak through you. But he gotta get you in that point where ain't nowhere else to go but to him. He said, those that I love, I correct them. I chastise them. Solomon was the wisest man that lived. He had everything that man could desire. But one thing God said, leave the foreign women alone. But he couldn't understand why he had a desire for the foreign women. But see, the Lord knew that they were going to turn his heart against him. They were going to make him idol worship and build a God. But he didn't understand it. Now I'm going to say this, the preacher, he searched the world out. He said, I want to know the basis behind wisdom and knowledge and understanding and foolishness. See, you can't know wisdom and knowledge and you should be a fool, but we don't want to be foolish. That's the only way you're going to get it. You got to be a fool first. How you going to know a fool when you're still fool? How you going to know foolishness if you haven't been foolish? Foolishness, it comes wisdom, it's painful. Because we think we all of that. We got a lot of abilities we can create. We can send man to the moon. We can be inventors, but we're limited. If I understand that I'm limited, then that's when God takes control and gives me the wisdom that I desire. Humility. Be humble. If you don't understand your purpose, ask God. But ask him in sincerity. What's my purpose, God? Did you ever ask that question? What's my purpose? Why I'm here? What am I meant to do? But sometimes he can't tell us all at once. It might be too much. But be sincere.
She went out to the woods, picked up the biggest branch stick that she could muster, because remember, she's pregnant.
Yes.
And put it in the corner of her cabin.
I know that's right.
And waited. So that night, Robert wobbled his 60-year-old ass into her cabin like he did every night. When he didn't back up, she whacked his ass over the head.
That's what I'm talking about.
He ain't get back up. She continuously bludgeoned him. And she said, and I quote, "The devil got into me." That wasn't the devil. Them was the ancestors getting their reparation.
Right.
She beat his skull in. Once she knew he was good and dead, she rolled his ass into the fire and tended to it all night. She barbecued his ass to ash and bones.
Yep. Right.
Ashek. The larger bones that were not disintegrated by the fire, she crushed them. And then she put them in the floorboards, like pushed them through the floorboards of her cabin. So after a long sleepless night of doing the good Lord's work, she went to sleep. She got up right before noon and started spying on the family because, of course, they're looking for Robert. But then she noticed that the ash in her fireplace was far too much. It would have looked suspicious. It looked weird. So she commissioned Robert's 12-year-old grandson, Coffee, who also lived on the plantation with them, to dispose of his grandfather unknowingly. Sis was low-key a savage.
For real.
So she told Coffee, "I'll give you 2 dozen walnuts if you clean out my fireplace and get rid of the ashes." And he was super excited because apparently he loved walnuts. So he gathered his grandfather's ashes and scattered them down the pathway all the way to a stable that was on the property. So after Robert was missing for 12 hours, his grown kids was like, "We're going to go talk to Celia." The same person that they didn't even think anything was going on between them two. Why would you go to her cabin first if you knew that nothing was going on?
Tell me why there's a black lady on TikTok that's been accusing Sandra Bullock of stealing her baby around the time the movie came out.
It is not a coincidence.
And I bring this up because there's a whole controversy about the movie The Blind Side. They saying that the boy was never autistic, and that white couple that raised him, they never really raised him. It was a conservatorship. They never adopted him. Like, they really used him. They never even paid. So the lady said apparently she never knew that she was pregnant the whole 9 months she was pregnant. She didn't know until it was time to give birth. She said she was in very bad pain. She kept passing out over and over again. And so, you know, she took some PCP to self-medicate herself because the pain was that bad and nothing else would work. So, yeah, that is sonogram on her. She was pregnant with twins. And so, you know, when it was time for her to give birth, they was taking her to the next room and she seen Sandra Bullock in a bunch of cameras. She said she didn't really think nothing of it because, you know, like she didn't think they was there to take her babies. But they just happened to be there the same day that her baby was born. That she never even got a chance to hold her baby. She saw a nurse leave out the room with a baby. She confronted the hospital. They wanted to make it seem like, oh, she's crazy. You know, she's a drug addict. Look, she came here with morphine in her system. But she's like, nah, fuck all that. I know I had 2 babies. That baby dude looked like he can be her son. Like, I don't know. Like, he have her nose. He have her face. Like, he looked like her. So to the left is Sandra Bullock's son, and then to the right is the lady's son who's supposed to be the twin. He looks just like her, like you can't unsee it.
All talking about that's not my baby. She didn't have that baby in 2008. First of all, sweetheart, I never had no medical treatment for my kids. A black female being told that I couldn't have kids, that I was damaged for the rest of my life. I couldn't have kids, but the whole time I had no medical treatment. Okay, that's why I kept collapsing dead, because I was pregnant the whole fucking time and no medical treatment. No medical treatment whatsoever. So with that said and done is, I was very sick and I kept collapsing dead. So this was actually meant, and this was for me. They planned this. I was pregnant the whole time. And they stole my baby. Okay, my medical records say infants and newborns, meaning more than 1 child was born. So why leave the hospital with 1 child? Why call the police? Why the doctors never let me talk to the police saying no, I had drugs in my system? A tiny amount of PCP, that's nothing. That's nothing. That's still nothing for you to steal my baby.
And again, I'm not saying that lady got that lady's son. I'm just a messenger. Because, you know, this whole Blind Side shit just made me think, like, She literally did a movie around the time she adopted a black baby. That's what got me.
Sandra Bullock did steal my son. I had identical twins. She was there at the hospital the day I was rushed there by ambulance. It's no article saying what she was there for, but it's an article saying that she was there and pictures of her there. All of a sudden, my baby gets stolen. Right?
That's a harsh accusation. Like, for one, like, come on, as a black person, whenever I see a white person raising black kids, one of my thoughts is, why did he get a black one? Not saying anything wrong with it, but sometimes it is.
If Sandra Bullock never stole my baby, why would she come up to 3 different stories about one little black boy about adoption? Come on now. In the beginning, she said Michelle Bombshell, the lesbian, okay, which was one of my alias, my nicknames. The lesbian gave her the baby inside the hospital worth $1.1 billion. First of all, Sandra Bullock, I never gave you my baby. I didn't even know I was pregnant. The second story was that she adopted the baby from Africa. Okay? She was even paying a woman, flying her from Nigeria to come out here to spend time with my son. She was just on Red Table Talk, I would say a couple of months ago. Yeah, Red Table Talk, Jada Pinkett Show on Facebook. I'll wait. Pull an article up. She was on there with Jada Pinkett, her daughter, and her mother. Okay? They kept asking her questions about Lewis and why would she adopt black kids and all this and that. She refused to talk about Lewis. You know, she said that Lewis was a secret adoption. She told Jada Pinkett that the adoption was secretive. She did not like the way it went down. That she had so much to tell Lewis, she don't know how to tell him. She wrote him a letter. She don't know when to get the phone, mommy. She don't know when to give him the letter, but she know her time is coming soon. When me and my kids drove to New Orleans and my son rung that doorbell, as I'm changing my baby in the car, before I get out the car, both of my boys are at her mansion. I never knew that they were talking to someone at the gate. Okay? So, as I get out the car with the baby, I walked over there. They're talking to a man. And the man, I hear him say, Lewis, what are you doing outside the gate? My oldest son said, I'm not Lewis, I'm his twin brother. Is he home? The man states to me and my boys that no, Lewis is not here. I always see Lewis right here playing and stuff, but I never in my life seen Sandra Bullock. So I'm like, this is weird. You working on her mansion, you never met the woman. And he said he was doing business, construction on her mansion, fixing it up, doing some work, and that she left and went to her mansion in Austin, Texas. He wasn't supposed to give us that location. He wasn't supposed to tell us none of that, but he told us. And then he said, I pray that you get your son back. That's messed up. But yeah, they are identical. They look just alike. And my son said, thank you. We left. We went to the court building. Went to go file documents. Why is it everybody's giving me the turn up? Like, nobody wants to help. Nobody wants to help me. It's okay. Because I'm going to keep telling my story each and every day until I get back what was stolen from me. They're identical twins. Look on my page. I'll wait. I don't have to lie to nobody. I'm not sugarcoating nothing for no one.
So for me as a black person to question, yeah, why would she adopt a black baby boy around the same time she did The Blind Side? That's weird. When you really think about it, it really is. And it's questionable. So, yeah.
It's a festival that happens sometimes around the solstice, sometimes around unique moons. This festival is called the Burning Man. Right now, there are 72,000 people stranded in Nevada, in the middle of the desert, in a place called Black Rock. I'm not making this up. Flooded at a place called Black Rock. This festival is put on by pagans and Satanists, where a bunch of different artists come and perform in the middle of the desert. And not only that, they have a structure of a big wooden man that they burn, and they all dance around it. Alright, so when you go to X, you hear a different narrative about what's going on in Nevada. When you go through Google and you go through the articles they have on there, there's a different narrative on there. They're just talking about the flooding. But what is truly happening? Because you know some people out here, they're clout chasers. I know one thing, I made a video about this, about the super full blue moon that we just had. I said that something was going to happen during this full blue moon, and the next super moon, full moon that we have is September 29th, and the equinox happens on September 23rd. So I'm saying, and that moon that we having is a super harvest moon. Something is being harvested. That happens once in the blue.
Show the people what you just showed me. If you guys believe that a laser started the fire in Hawaii, look at this shit. What is that?
This is a class 3 battery-powered laser light.
Imagine what they're using, right? This is just a battery-operated laser.
Check it out.
That's insane, y'all. Look at that.
Literally burnt a hole in my bag.
Because that could never.
It can deter individuals on a military perimeter all the way up to a riotous crowd.
It only penetrates 1/64th of an inch of your skin. Goes very shallow.
There's a car on Front Street that's blue. Can anyone explain how that happened?
Want to know how to protect yourself against directed energy weapons? You have one in your kitchen. Let me show you how. This could save your life. This is a microwave door. Now this door has a protective mesh. You see that? And that mesh layer is a metal layer that blocks the microwaves from getting outside the microwave, hitting your skin and causing damage. All right? That's why I say never stand in front of a microwave when it's cooking food. So your microwave resonates at a short wave, low frequency cadence to cook your food. The only difference between your microwave and these directed energy weapons, or these LRAD, which are long-range aerial denial devices, the same one we've seen in California, the ones we've seen recently in Hawaii, the only difference between these directed energy weapons and your microwave is scale. So these weapons are larger and they're able to shoot a longer wave, right? Higher frequency wavelength that resonates somewhere between 80 and 130 gigahertz. All right. And so I want to show you why that's important, because these weapons are used to actually just penetrate a few millimeters beneath the skin. And once it penetrates a few millimeters beneath the skin, it's able to cause the most damage because you have a lot of nerve endings and nervous system compartments in your skin. I'm going to show you how it heats up this fluorescent tube just to give you an idea of the wavelength. As you can see, I got the microwave here outside, got the door off. Do not try this at home. I'm showing you this so you can protect yourself. Now you can see the wave is expanding the width of the fluorescent tube, and that gives you a good indicator of that field. Now as I go further out, you see it breaks into two waves. You see that? Now, some turkey bacon out here. I want to show you that this thing does have power to penetrate skin and cause damage. So look, it took about 15 minutes to get it to like this, but remember, we don't have a door on the microwave, so all of the energy is not being contained inside, it's scattering out. And this is because we don't have a funnel on the front to direct the energy. But these weapons that they use at some of the highest agencies, the alphabet agencies, are directed energies. All right? So how do we defend against directed energy weapons? Let me show you. The first defense is water. Actually, wetting garments or having water as an obstacle to these directed energy weapons will deflect them. Let me show you. If you're at a protest and you don't have anything to protect you, usually always have bottled water. Now, you see in front, you see it's clearly lighting up, right? Let's go on back of it. Nothing. It's not lighting up. Front, you see it's lighting up. On the other side, nothing. Okay? Nothing. And there's nothing in between here. Okay? There's nothing in between here. See? Now go just below, there's an opening. You see that opening? That tells you it's getting through in that opening right there. You see that? But here, nope. That water's blocking it. So if you're at a protest, get some cardboard like that, right? And you get some aluminum foil. And I'm gonna sandwich that aluminum between two pieces of cardboard. See? Because if I don't, the aluminum will just reflect the microwaves right back at me. I don't want that. I'm gonna put this cardboard with the aluminum in front, like that. So the aluminum foil shielding blocks as well. See that? Now another thing people were discussing was the blue car that was in Hawaii, and thinking about some of the other umbrellas that were blue that were not affected by the scalar weapon. I wanted to test a blue tarp. Let's try blue tarp. Pay attention. Getting a light on this side, but we're getting actually some blockage, some interference, and that's because the blue spectrum here is interfering with that wavelength. Right? No light. So the blue tarp speculation may have some merit. So recap, how do we protect ourselves against directed energy weapons, especially if we're out at a protest or in the field? Water. Saturating your clothes, especially your hats and head coverings with water, will deflect directed energy weapons. Aluminum foil. Any aluminum or metal substance wrapped in your clothes or on your body will deflect the microwave energy. But not least, a blue tarp. Now, I would not use this blue tarp as a sure safe bet because we need to do more research. But the blue colored fabrics or materials do show some signs of deflection against these directed energy microwave weapons. You can put a tarp like this on your roof to help protect in case they shoot this down on your home in your neighborhood. And once I do some more research, we may even consider wrapping our bodies with it. But like and follow if you want more tips and tricks.
Everybody, the streets! We not can live on the streets! Yeah. We don't have a house! Yeah! At least give us a piece of land for live on.
Keep our lands in our right hand! Come on, son! You guys got it? I'm good, I'm good. What are we? We're always booked. Yeah, Elaine. We're always booked in. Like animals. Your teeth. Like animals. We Hawaiians! This is our land! This is our way of life! Aloha, sister!
This is the most recent of a series of arrests and evictions from the beaches of Hawaii. But with close to 90% of the people of Hawaii unable to afford their own homes, this incident will probably not be the last. This is Puhi Pau from Waimanalo, Oahu.
We busted our ass, and this is what we get? Nobody called us. Our phones didn't work from 5 in the morning. The fire was not 10 o'clock when I went to work. The fire was still there. There was no water. Tell me if that's coincidence. No water, no warning. and everybody talking about the satellite city before the fire. Lahaina gonna be the first satellite city. Well, hey, Jeff Bezos, you got what you wanted. Oprah, you got what you wanted. And the guy who owns the nut, you got what you wanted. Fuck us all over. That's what happened. We need help in Lahaina. Who's gonna come now and ask us, can I pray for you, Auntie? Thank you. Can I help you with your paperwork? Because all we got so far was $700 and we don't know who to call or anything. It's culturally insensitive in that zone.
Okay guys, I'm scared and I need your help. So this is going to be the last video that I upload of the day. I have a ton of content that I'm about to hike to the top of the hill and upload, but this will be the last video because it's very important to me that people watch this video. So I'm probably uploading more content about this whole thing than anybody else who's actually here on the ground is able to upload. But there are still many, many things that I'm not able to show, that it's really not the right time to show. I've spoken to many people that were in this neighborhood while everything was being burned to the ground and saw the 100-foot flames, saw what was burning, saw what the catalyst was, how everything went, what the real story was. And most of these people don't want to say anything at all on the record about this. And I found one guy who was willing to talk about it as long as I didn't show his face. But after a lot of the messages I have been getting, I'm beginning to understand what these people are worried about. And I'm beginning to worry for my own safety. I'm beginning to worry for my family's safety. And so I want to speak directly to the powers that be. And, if you watch my other content, you will know what I mean by that. Nobody knows exactly who these people are, but we know that they exist. So I understand that maybe I'm becoming somewhat of a problem for you. And I want to be very clear that if I'm creating a problem, I alone am the problem. My wife has nothing to do with this whatsoever. I'm sure she would rather that I didn't do any of this because we have nothing to gain from it. I am really the only one with any interest in getting the truth out there. So if you need to do anything to fix this problem, you need to do it to me and not to anybody else. However, I will say one other thing, which is I have uploaded this content to a very close friend who is far away in an undisclosed location, and I've also provided them with the credentials to all of my social media. So if anything does happen to me, the story should get out that way. I started an X today, formerly Twitter. I couldn't do Jeff Cygnus. I had to do Cygnus Jeff, but everybody's been telling me to do that, and it'll be a good backup if anything happens with the TikTok account. So please follow me there. I think I might have 8 followers there, and whatever it's been, I think 60,000 more followers in the last day or something on TikTok. So clearly people are very interested in this, and that is really my only motivation for doing this. I have not made any money off of it. And I also want to address this idea that some people have posted that I am a disaster tourist. So first of all, I've been here for a long time. You can watch my first videos covering this or the fire when it's burning. So clearly I didn't fly out here to come see all this stuff. That morning, my wife and I went up to the blowhole, which is the opposite direction, because we wanted to see what that looks like on a day with so much wind. And so we got some cool footage there, and then we drove down the mountain and or around the mountain rather, and we saw a bunch of smoke, and so we drove towards Kaanapali. The resorts were as close as we could get. The road was not moving after that for reasons that are now obvious that were not obvious at the time, and I got footage of it. So this idea that I'm just here for this is bullshit, obviously bullshit to anybody who can think. And I have been here, killing myself, trying to help in every way that I can. I've helped offload trucks, I've donated work, and this coverage, in my opinion, is very important for everybody involved here, the world in general, but also for all of the locals, all of the indigenous people that have been here a long time. When they do a ceremony in the Walgreens parking lot, is it better if 30 people watch or if 1 million people watch? What's going to get more donations? What's better if the world understands just the depth of the devastation here, or if they don't understand the depth of the devastation? And I have not come across any human remains whatsoever. I have not posted any animal remains, and I have not done anything whatsoever illegal. Everywhere that I have gone has been a public place and has not been blocked off at all. I have drone footage. I have footage of me going into these places. Now, that may have changed since I posted my content and my videos, and it changes on a daily basis. But when I went into these places, I did nothing wrong. So if anything happens to me, whether it's anything legal or anything else, don't believe it, and I live a very happy life. I would never do anything to harm myself. If anybody watching this is an attorney or knows an attorney that may want to speak with me and help me protect my First Amendment right and understand what I am dealing with out here in more depth than I am able to really post at this point, I would love to speak with you and get some help and advice. And now the last thing I'll say is every day I will post a TikTok story. It might just be a quick screenshot or something, but if for any reason you don't see that story each day, then something happened, something is up, and I feel like it helps me if hundreds of thousands of people know that.
Yeah, I did read it. But my son just said, Mommy, I think if I follow what the cops told me to follow, I think we won't have made it. Because when they go down, the cops told him to drive down Front Street and follow along. And he turned early by Foodland. I thank him. I say, good Lord, you have a second thought about it. Sometimes we listen to the cops because they know more than we do, right?
Only those who disobeyed survived. Have you heard this? Have you heard this? Now, I know I just saw Police Chief Pelletier and I exposed him because I have a lot of super great info on the Vegas shooting that was not shown to the mainstream. People just don't know. The media knew and they covered it. And I have the proof. And I show it in my previous videos where you can find it. I know that Pelletier's in on it because he was in on that one. And it's not a conspiracy because I have the evidence that are recorded through cell phone footage. How many people know that there was 8 shootings that actually happened in Las Vegas on the ground at different hotels with all the different witnesses? Nobody knows that. They know one shooter from Mandalay Bay. That's it. But that's not the truth. And it's not a conspiracy. And this up here, only those who disobeyed survived, that's not a conspiracy either.
So you got corralled onto Front Street. You started on the Honopilani Highway.
Highway.
And you ended up on Front Street.
Yes, couldn't go anywhere. They just said go north, go north, go north. And then when we got on Front Street, embers were coming over the buildings and landing on our vehicles. And we're all in a line trying to get to the end of Front Street, go north like they told us to, not knowing that the police blocked off the end of Front Street so nobody could move. And then everybody panicked. And they all started, everybody went up on the sidewalks and through yards, took out the other lane. And then all of a sudden, nobody could move anywhere. So all I did was try to inch my way over to another yard and drive up through a sidewalk, come back around, and then the cops were moving around one exit, so I ended up getting up on the highway, even though they tried to direct me another way, and then I hightailed it to home.
So you basically had to climb up on sidewalks and go against what the cops were telling you could do. You had to break traffic laws, essentially.
Basically, yeah.
All right, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying the only way to do it was to cross that line, essentially.
Yeah, because nobody could move and nobody knew where to go, and I said, I'm getting out of here no matter what.
Right.
I went. And then they started following me.
See, he was on the highway and he was corralled into Front Street from the highway. How does that make any sense? Then he stated he had to break through and they followed him. The cops followed him. How does that make sense? They're there to help, protect, and serve, block the roads, but they follow him when he escapes the fire. How does that make sense? Now let's see the witness for the north side. The north end of Front Street, we have his witness testimony. He came through the south end and we know that side was blocked because that's the side he came from. And I have another eyewitness testimony thanks to Eric West, who was out there on the ground documenting everything, standing up. People don't know that when you do that kind of stuff, the corruption of whoever's doing this will come after you and try to silence you, scare you. So I applaud you, Eric West. I've seen the videos of people trying to bring you down, but I can also see through the veil and I could just look it up and I could tell you were doing it from the heart. And I saw Sweet Tea saying the same thing. And I know she's got a heart, so she knows what's going on, and she talks to you every day. Because she told me. Almost every day, right? So just know, Eric, as you're out there doing such good work, these people are evil. They're going to come after you through deceptive practices. They're going to deceive people to come after you. Deception and trickery is their tools. And divide and conquer. Follow your heart, like you said. You got this, bro.
Moving. And how many cars were on Front Street at that time, would you say?
Hundreds.
Hundreds.
Yeah,
So
as
just
far
packed.
back as you could see. I figured there must be a pole down or something there to keep the cars from going out.
Watch.
And the closer I got, I realized there wasn't nothing obstructing the traffic. There was just a policeman there. And I started wondering myself if he was going to let me get out. Why are they keeping the cars here? Because they had all the traffic coming from the...
He said he started to wonder if the cop was gonna allow him out. That's what he got from it, right? Because like if he's holding the cars up, why would he let me go through? That's crazy. It's literally crazy. Let's see the end of that.
Going out. And the closer I got, I realized there wasn't nothing obstructing the traffic. There was just a policeman there. And I started wondering myself if he was going to let me get out. Why are they keeping the cars here? Because they had all the traffic coming from the north stopped. All the traffic going to the north. There was nothing obstructing it at all. Nothing.
How many people saw this attorney right here? Did you see him? What did he ask? He said, I don't know if this is gross negligence or criminal negligence. Well, I compiled the evidence for everybody. If you're in Lahaina, if you're in Maui, and you witness this blockade and you want to stand up, unlawful orders do not have to be followed. If any officer there to protect and serve can see that an order is going to create clear and substantive harm to the people, they do not have to follow. They don't. That's the truth. Nothing makes sense. People need to be held accountable, just like this gentleman says. You know what? Let's hear this gentleman.
The police officer that was over there, he should be investigated. I was told by people who escaped there on foot that the officer had blocked the road. People could not get out. My brother literally had to go cut the chain off of the old sugar mill camp area to let people out of the top of Kilauea Mauka because the roads were all blocked because the police were blocking it. We want accountability. It needs to be investigated by a third party that is not associated with the government. I was blocked out several days. I could not come in. There was chaos. People was rioting. What's on those documents for FEMA? I'm an attorney myself. There's so many things that are questionable that has happened here. Right after that, the governor says, oh, I'm going to take the land. He's talking about the state wants to purchase all this land, that he should get this land. This land belongs to the people already.
I'm with BJ Penn. I'm not a Kanaka, but I'm fed up, just like him, fed up Kanaka. A lot of these elites think that they're going to implement this great reset with their Agenda 2030. And people could say, Kenny, come on, man. You're a conspiracy theorist, right? Let me show you. The most ugliest facts you're going to ever see being implemented worldwide right now. In the mainland, states like Texas, every single major city has signed on to become a smart city. Every single one. Major city, that is. San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, you name it. They're on that list. That's the list right there. It's right here, y'all. And anybody can find this stuff. But here's where it is. How did Josh Green implement his emergency proclamation 3 weeks before? I guess I gotta do it like this so people don't think I'm throwing up signs. How did he do that 3 weeks before? To streamline the process of taking land through a natural disaster. What is he, like a fortune teller? No, let me show you what Josh Green is. Look, BJ Penn again. Josh Green is a sellout. He's a political entrepreneur, exactly like Brandon. Same thing. Here you go. Just type this in. Governor Josh Green, Agenda 2030. Even the bad search engines will pull it right up. This is a local news station here in Hawaii. This is all you gotta look up. Just click that. Here it is. The governor was invited to be the keynote speaker in the forum that included more than 40 presenters from around the world. So Governor Josh Green is the keynote speaker. Remember that. The speakers who were invited to help implement the United Nations Agenda for Sustainable Developmental Goals in 2030. There it is. This is why it's happening. And those people are the minions following these orders. And this burden is yours and mine to bear. To stand up to tyranny, to stand up to corruption, it is your right. And it is my duty since I learned the education I have to share. And I created education. Everybody who wants to hold these people accountable, you'll have your opportunity. If you were eyewitness and you saw a blockade, you can be the change. Just like my shirt says, be the change. It's only you who can be the change. I'll gladly help you. I created all these instructions just for you. And for anybody across the country that's dealing with types of tyranny, your stuff being burnt down, the government's being corrupted, you can download these files, you can edit them to fit your situation, and you can file criminal complaints. To see, you want to see if the whole system is rigged? Here you go. We have all the evidence. So this is what we created. We created instructions about what your rights are, about where your rights come from, how to fill out your affidavits. Well, what is an affidavit? How does it actually work? What's the purpose of an affidavit? And how to actually create evidence to file a criminal complaint in court to make it stick. So all this is educational material. This is not legal advice. We are not attorneys, but we've learned how to exercise our rights, and we want to share educational material with our brothers and sisters that we see affected. And it's been put upon our hearts to create this for you. Now you can download all this for free. The quickest, easiest place I could get it to was my Telegram. That's my name, and that's the files. So when you go and click the file tab, you can see all the files at the bottom are all about Maui, or people in situations like Maui. But for Lahaina, we went ahead and found all the evidence for the people. So this is what we need. This is what you need. People need to group together that were witnesses of the blockades. This is what we need the most. We can go and show you, teach you how to exercise your rights to file a criminal complaint, to force an investigation, a criminal investigation against these people. But the people have to do it. So you just go here to files and you can download the files. You can start to read them. It has everything. From what your rights are, how to file your criminal complaint, everything in between, even what happens after, what to expect after you file. We have everything listed. What are your rights? Do you know? Well, you can learn, and it is the easiest thing anyone's ever going to show you about rights. Like, I really simplified it to the point to where whoever reads it's going to be like, dude, thank you so much. It's very, very important to know your rights and to know what to do if you're being violated so that you can protect yourself and get these people. You can do it. We can do it. We can be the change. There's my Telegram. We're getting them uploaded to my website. For now, that's where they're at to get them today. Be the change, guys.
Dreams that you dream of, dreams